Hello, hello, hello. Sorry. I'm in kind of a fight here with our music provider, Pretzel Rocks. They are not loading this list of stations. I'm having to jump through hoops just to get it to play any music. And there it goes again. Please. Please, Pretzel. Play my music. Play any music. So maddening. Is it in the background? Can I like restart the process? Seemingly not. Any music? Silences a music? No, not unless it's John Cage's like 433 or whatever. All right, whatever. We're going to get started. Oh no, my green screen. Oh, my lights. Man, I'm a disaster this morning. It's supposed to be lights, camera, action. It's like we're going in reverse order. Going with action, camera, lights. Yeah, like what even is this? Come on, Pretzel. It's just like a blank window. Come on. Come on, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite service. Pretty annoyed. It just refuses to show the list of stations, so I can't pick any music to listen to. It's just stuck. Silence is devastating. And next, redeemed skip radio station. No, that is not going to work. That's just a manual instruction to me. I refunded you for it. Thanks for trying, though. Police pretzel. Yeah, I know Bart Lane. Yeah, this isn't Simon and Garfunkel either. All right, we'll spend like another minute trying to get this to work, and then I'm just gonna give up. Add this to the list of reasons why I don't feel like I should renew. I'm actually kind of stuck. I actually can't end my Pretzel Rock subscription ever if I ever want to monetize this channel, because it plays music and you're protected against copyright strikes as long as you're subscribed. But if you stop subscribing, you're no longer protected. And so like they might end a license with like a music provider that they use, that they play music from, and then they might end up, then that music provider will be like, hey, you're not allowed to play this on YouTube. And it's like, well, I was when I recorded the thing. So I'm stuck. I have no choice. I'm basically trapped, uh, where we just have to use pretzel rocks, and it's just awful. Here, I think I have an alternate. I think I have an idea. I think I can log into pretzel rocks on the web. I don't remember how my account is set up. Let's view the player. All right, let's see if the web player works. Watch the web player not work either. Good business practice for them for, yeah. Hey, Diginanigans, Robolotl, Klausy. Hey, how's everyone here? Of course, the morning we're having technical difficulties is the morning that like everyone pops in right on time, ready to go. So welcome all. We're working on Digital Iliad, which is like an FTL style game in isometric 3D. We're working on a tool to build these 3D spaces. So like we can build these spaces like this. So we're working on this editor tool that lets us hollow out these 3D spaces and make compartments and rooms with doors and all sorts of stuff. There's like an auto tiler. There's a whole bunch of, there's a cutaway system to handle how you can view these 3D spaces. There's a whole bunch of tech that we've been putting together. We're going to keep working on that today. I'm just trying to figure out my music problem. I know I could do the stream without music, and there's actually probably a lot of wisdom in running the stream without music. But it bothers me. I have a really hard time just standing here in silence for 3 hours with nothing but my own voice. So I like to play music if only just for me. It looks fun. Yeah, it's not a game yet, it's just a tool, but it's gonna help us build these areas so I could like put some doors down. We're trying to wrap up this tool so we can move on to the actual like, the simulation of the world. We really want to get to that point sooner than later. All right, the web player is not working either. Super cool. That makes sense because in my mind, this app is really just the web player. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I guess we're just going to be streaming in silence unless I can figure out an alternative here. Let's see. It should list the music that I like. Maybe I can just play liked tracks if those will load. But how's everyone doing today? Welcome in. We've got quite a few people here right off the bat. So I know I've been waffling about whether we want to try to do the alternative input model. I think I do. I think I want to keep working on that for a little bit. I fixed a bug yesterday, which resulted from our fixing the bug during stream. We fixed this obscure bug on stream. It created a new bug that I spotted last night. Fixed that. So we've just been slaying bugs here, left and right. Robolotl, what's the best way to learn GDScript? It's a good question. It's a good question. I think the best way to learn GDScript. I mean, some of the the tutorials. Godot has quite a few built-in tutorials. So if you go to the documentation here from the engine, you can go here, Godot docs. Getting started. There's a 2D game tutorial. There's a 3D game tutorial. There's some step-by-step stuff where you can just read entirely about the scripting languages. So if you go down here into the manual, there's scripting, GDScript. It's pretty good because it'll help you. You can compare the API for GDScript versus C# and .NET versus GD extension. I find it to be a pretty intuitive language. I'm obviously way more familiar with like C# and like JavaScript and stuff like that. We do a lot of C# for this project. Diginanigans, you're not doing too bad. It's a little lighter of a week, which is good because the last 3 were crazy. That's nice. That's nice. Rhiannon Journey, you're doing okay. These last few days have been emotionally exhausting, so you're trying to recover from that. Oof. Sounds like everyone has been worn down the last few weeks. You think Brackeys has a GDScript tutorial also? Oh, that's a great idea if that's true. Brackeys has been starting to do Godot tutorials. Those are great. I would say just little things, little projects. I find GDScript very straightforward to read. Here's a bit of GDScript that we use because we do use GDScript in this project. The simulation code is all written in C# for not helpful reasons. Obviously, like the indenting, indent. Excuse me. I just finished breakfast, so I'm a little, volatile. Uh, the indent-based control flow is a little weird. I don't love it. Um, I do love snake case. I kind of wish I just used snake case everywhere. I like it a lot better than other cases. But yeah, there's a lot of fun tricks that you end up learning, like how to drag nodes into script files. Like there's a lot of great interaction directly between the GDScript and stuff in the scene tree. Like it's really easy to just grab something and like control drag it over and you get it as a variable. Like it does feel very tightly coupled with the engine in a way that's very nice. I enjoy it. I pretty much only ever use GDScript a lot when I'm doing a game jam. That's usually when I learn is jamming because I do the whole project in Godot. I don't mess around with like what we're doing with our main project here, where we have everything. We have the whole simulation layer split off into its own entity component system based thing. All right, it looks like the music thing is not going to happen. It's pretty annoying. There are these game stations that are loading, and I'm like very afraid to use them. But we might not have a choice here. I think I can play. Let's try to pick a good one. Let's play the chess radio station. I really hope this is still going to remain YouTube safe and copyright free for us. Doesn't, we have problem. Let's see if this works. Okay, we got something. All right. That's good because I was honestly losing my mind. Hey Silas. How are you doing? All right. Okay, we can start the stream now. That was so awful. Me just standing in silence for 15, 20 minutes. I was starting to lose it, man. I know some people prefer the musicless streams because then they can just play their own music. But I need music, and it feels like we should be listening to the same music. I feel like it contributes to the vibe. All right, so what we're doing right now is I want to change the input model that we have. We talked about this yesterday. I want to keep working on this a little bit. I think it's worth trying to do now. It's very jazzy. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to have the kind of granularity I normally have with controlling the music. We're kind of just, this is the best I could get. It should be kind of chill. This is their chess music station, so it should be good for like thinking, right? Shenanigans, you'll have to get some ambient music made for your game so you have it as a background music for the stream. Yeah. I feel like that might drive me insane eventually. That's like how like Pirate Software will listen to like his own game's music for like 12 hours. I don't know if I could do that even for like a few. Like I think if I was playing my own music exclusively, I would run out really quickly of music to listen to. All right, so here's the thing that we're working on, right? So I can select, it can tell which of these blocks I'm touching, right? It can't tell if I'm trying to touch one of these blocks on the wall. And that's because we hard code the Z level that we're interacting with. So right now we're interacting with the topmost Z level. If I scroll down, now we're interacting with one Z level down. So now it can tell if I'm touching these walls. If I touch them, you know, exactly the right spot here. Down, same deal. So there's a lot of advantages to doing it this way. It's very clear what you're doing, but I don't love it. I think I would love to have more of an imitation of like a raycast, which is tough to do because this is a 2D representation, but it is a representation of a 3D space, so we can kind of fake our own. And there's some stuff we're gonna do to make that happen. 12 hours every day since 8 years. Yeah, I don't know how Thor does that. I would get sick of it so quickly. And you know, a lot of Twitch streamers will just play whatever. We're obviously multi-streaming Twitch and YouTube, so we have some pretty tight restrictions on what kind of music we can play, which is why I went for a service like Pretzel. But obviously it has problems. There was a month or two where they cut like 60 to 80% of the library of music that I could use. It's terrible. They seem to have added all of it back. Nix, you used to listen to the same 20-second clip of sound for days at a time. Oh, yeah, that sounds not good. Silas, you're good. You decided to rework how the terminal works. Oh yeah, for your game. It was a bit unrealistic before. No way. I don't believe that any aspect of your game was unrealistic. You were going for such hard sci-fi realism. You decided things like lights, batteries, terminals, and eventually doors, locks, etc. are all hardware devices connected to a local network, connected over the power grid using power line network. So now they're discoverable over the terminal by commands. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, that sounds really cool. That sounds like a really cool way to explore a spaceship, is by like trying to like reach out and see like what's connected. That seems like a really cool exploration element. LS Dev, hey, what's up? Easy, he's not making a game. I see, I understand now. Thank you for that. Well, we are making a game. Well, eventually we're making a game. Right now we're making some tools to make a game. We're making some tile editor block tools for our block space, and we're working on the input system. But the goal is to make it for this 3D sort of isometric FTL-like game, like FTL faster than light. Basically a spaceship management game. That's kind of what we're going for. Very low res pixel art. This is all I can make. This is all I can handle myself. So we've got a very restrained aesthetic. Silas, you're very inspired by Duskers. Oh, I've seen Duskers. That looked so cool. I never got into it. It was one of those games where I was always interested in trying it and then just never got around to it. That's really cool. I kind of want to play Cogmind. I feel like it has maybe some similar stuff going on. All right, so here's what we're doing. So we've got an alternative input that we're reading in that I call the tile mapping. This is a 4 wide vector here. It's the It's going to be the coordinates of the actual map, tile map, like the tile coordinates, like your map, your tile 5-7 or whatever. And then there's going to be the ZW is going to be where within the tile are you? Like, are you on the left side or the right side or the top side or the bottom side? That matters for a very particular reason, which we can talk about once we're done with this raid. Black Void Titan, what's up? Red alert. We got a raid. How's it going? How's it going, Titan and Raiders? This is Digital Iliad. We're working on an isometric FTL-like in 3D here. I'm drinking my coffee, which I made rather late, but coffee is life. So you'll forgive me. Next, Cogmine looks interesting. Looks more like an action game rather than a hacking drone controlling game. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Titan, going good. You're just working on some bug fixing and polishing today for your dialogue system. How's it going? It's going good for us. We're almost done with our tile editor tool. We're wrapping up the last couple of features here. We've got a to-do list. I'll bring that up here. We've got our, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel is how I described it to someone last night. We've been working on this tool set for so long. I know my demos are all exactly the same here, but the cutaway system works well. The auto tiling system works well. The interface works well. We want to make some changes to how inputs are processed, which is kind of what we're working on right now. Right now, your inputs are mapped onto a particular Z level, no matter what. I kind of want to do a fake raycast system so that the system could tell if I was like mousing over the walls here. Right now it can't because it's just like, it just hard codes. You just scroll up and down and it changes your Z level. I would rather have it be, it's like pretending to cast array and then scrolling just increases the length of that array. So do a little bit of faking, almost like a raycast and generating a collision list and then being able to scroll through that list. That's kind of more what we're working on. All right, Silas. Nick's just called you out. Actually, Nick's called me out. You're supposed to take your game is supposed to be done in 1/3 of the time it's going to take me to make my game. So you only got a couple of years left. Yeah, that's cool. We've been definitely slaying a lot of bugs too. That's kind of what happens when you're at the end of a feature set as well, right? Yeah, so we're going to slide this raycast input cursor input thing back in here. I want to keep working on this. I know we kind of bailed on it at the end of the last stream, but we need to do this stuff. We want to do this stuff, but I'm kind of in the middle of this stuff, so I think we need to keep working on it. But yeah, we're crunching. We're crunching through the rest of the tasks in our block editor tool here. We're almost done with it. And in our roadmap, that's the first important step towards getting an alpha MVP build. We want to finish working on our tile block editor, then we can start working on the ship simulation. So like, how does the ship actually work? How does power move between systems? How does a character ask for a pathfinding solution? Stuff like that. How does oxygen move throughout the ship? So we're like right on the edge of some of the most interesting work. And I'm torn because there's some quality of life stuff here. I want to keep working on the editor, but I also want to just move on. So we're a bit torn, but we're working on this big chunk. Ran a journey. I've been working on it for a while. It's looking really good. Compared it to a stream 6 months ago, and it's a lot better. Yeah. 6 months ago, we were just getting started on it, really. We'd like just finished our entity component system, and we were just starting to work on that stuff. So yeah, so I'm maintaining the original cursor chords, which is what we're using now, but I kind of want to build up this parallel process using this separate tile mapping, which solves some problems for us, specifically around this. So if your tile is, if your cursor is on this tile with the big X here, which I actually probably could have drawn even bigger. Do I like it this better? Yeah, that's a little more clear. So let's say your cursor is here. Well, for a given layer, we need to check the blocks in front of it, because if there's just a tile there, but there's like a wall up here, then we're going to hit this wall before we hit that back tile. And we need to know which side we're on because we've got the priority listed here. But obviously the left and right tiles have the same priority. So that's why we have a vector 2 that tells us where within the tile the cursor is, because that lets us know whether to defer to this set or this set. And then we just check through these 6. This radio station is very hit or miss right now. Titan, it's always good to check back to see how far you've come. Yeah, we're going to do that in a big way. We're on episode 226 right now. My favorite thing to do is when we hit a Power of 2 episode, I like to go back and see what we were doing during the last Power of 2 episode. So when we hit episode 256, we're going to go back and we're going to check out what we were doing in episode 128. And the funny thing is, at the beginning of episode 128, we'll have gone back to look at what we were doing in episode 64. So we'll get this really fun. We get this really fun look where each time we look at like a much bigger time scale and see how much progress we've made. So I'm excited. We should hit episode 256 in another month or two. Yeah, probably in about a month, maybe a little less. Yeah, about a month and a half. Yeah, that'll be good. And we'll get to look back and we'll be like, what were we doing at episode 128? The irony is, well, not the irony. The unfortunate part is we probably were working on the block tile editor tool, but hopefully it'll look different enough where we're like, wow, we can see it. Yeah. So we're gonna need to do this check for every single layer. Also, yeah, thanks again for the raid. Let's give that shout out that I always forget that I should probably automate at some point. Shout out to Black Void Titan. You got any game jams coming up or anything, Titan? If you got to run, let me know. I'll stop. Or if you're gonna lurk, I'll stop bugging you. But it's kind of jam season right now, isn't it? Busy times. Here's hoping we won't be working on the tile editor by 512. Oh, by 5. If we hit episode 512 and we're working and we're like not down here, like the 9. If we're not done with these, or if not done, if we don't have the alpha MVP out by 512, I'll be a little sad, because 512 would be about a year and a half from now, and I think a year and a half from now we should actually have a playable alpha up on itch for free. That would be I think a reasonable goal to have, because that would mean a year and a half from now would be like the end of 2026 or beginning of 2027. Yeah, if we aren't actually done with all of these by then, I'll be upset, which is a little concerning because it implies that we only have 6 months for each of these, which seems fine, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably not sufficient. So we got to get cooking. I say, having accomplished no work in the first 30 minutes of the stream. Shenanigans, you love that concept. Really cool way to track progress. Yeah, it has the weird benefit of we're only going to do that a couple more times, right? Like we're going to check 512 and then we'll check 1024. And 1024 we'll mark probably like 4 years of development or like 6 years of development. I don't remember. It's some big number. So it's going to be kind of crazy. These look backs get longer and longer each time we do them, which I think is cool. Titan, nah, you want to focus on your main project since you took so much time off from it. I was watching it this morning. It's your cosmic horror roguelite game. It looks so cool. I love the art style. You'd be tempted by a Halloween jam? Yeah, I could be tempted by a Halloween jam. I think I'm gonna do Down to Jam in early September, and I think that might be my only jam for the rest of the year. I'm trying to find time to do more, but it's really hard for me to do like the fall Ludum Dare and stuff. Doesn't work with my schedule. Shenanigans, you could do it at your milestones too, like when you launch the alpha, the beta. Yeah, we'll probably find some other opportunities to do stuff. Pretzel rocks, I swear to mighty Zeus to smote you if you don't give me some music in a second here. All right, so the next step of this, so we've got our little input that we are tracking. So my question is, where are we going to do this? Like, where are we going to figure out what tile the cursor is on? Because that's not like a super trivial thing, because certain things impact that. So like, there's going to be some kind of frame delay here, definitely. Okay, it's just going to play the same song again. Can you play a different song? That's too much. I have so much regret. Oh no, it's playing multiple music tracks now. It's playing like 2 or 3 different songs at the same time. What is happening? Okay. Pretzel Rocks is having a hard time today. You know, if I ever thought I might get a sponsorship from them, it's not going to happen. I may be a little too critical. One of my highest viewed clips, one of my original clips on Twitch is just me shit talking Pretzel Rocks, which I feel bad about. I think JD took it. All right. Okay, it's coming in quietly, but I think we've got music. That felt like a final boss music where everything sounds bad, and then at one point everything aligns, and it's like a beautiful orchestra. The boss hits phase 2. Yeah, that is kind of how. Okay, some music to work to, I guess. Yeah, so here's what I was gonna try to describe. So like where in the frame we do the cursor check really matters, because like if we do it here, we need to consider the way the cutaway has been set, right? So like if there's this cutaway, obviously I can't be selecting any of the blocks before this. So it either needs to be after the cutaway system runs, or so it either needs to be at the end of the frame, picking the input for the next frame, or it needs to be at the beginning of the frame using data from last frame. Probably that's the way we do it, is we pick an input based on the data from last frame. So we'll probably do this input selection early in the frame, I think is a reasonable choice. All right, I'm not gonna touch the radio. I don't love this song, but I'm afraid. I finally got Pretzel Rocks to play some music. I'm afraid of touching it. So we're just gonna have to live with this. All right, so So if we're going to do that, that just means we need to make sure that all the relevant data is accessible, which it currently isn't. Because right now, cutaways is just a hidden private read-only array or private read-only. I actually don't even know what it is. Why did I make a custom object or custom class just for this? Oh, because I wanted to have all these functions. I wanted to have all these helper functions. All right, so this is how we're going to have to do this. So we got to make the cutaways visible. We got to make it as something that you can call on the system. So you can be like, because we have that elsewhere somewhere. Yeah, so like in the tool system, you can call the clipped blocks. So you can ask for all of the blocks in the clipboard. That's being processed as a buffer. And as soon as the music comes, it goes. It's truly insane. Get it together, Pretzel. Try the Minecraft radio here. You got to call it? Yeah, no worries. Oh, yeah. Sometimes those streams go long. But thanks for hanging out. Take it easy, Titan. I'll see you next time. All right. So if we wanted to make this accessible to everyone, which is what we need to do, we should. So right now it's a dictionary, which is good. But it doesn't. Should it be a dictionary though? So this is actually something. Oh, shoot. No. There's just going to be one of these. I was worried that we were going to have one per entity, like per ship, but we don't because we don't actually, you don't cut away all ships. You only cut away on the, what I would call the active selection. So like the ship that's in front of you at the full zoom level. So we just need one of these. It's nice that it's a dictionary. It could be, we'll probably just switch to using a buffer is probably what we should do. Switch to using a buffer of cutaway. So we have this cutaway object. This is like a bit field, I think. Yeah, flags, cutaway. So we're using this as a bit field. So this is a bit of a refactor here. We need to go from having this dictionary, which was nice and convenient, to just having a buffer. So let's work on setting up that. So we're going to say here, we're going to say something like public entity ID cutaway blocks. Make it probably like that. Probably get private set. Is that how we do that here? Yeah. And then so in our, we need a ready function. So it'll just be our initialization function. We can't use like init or anything like that because this needs to initialize after the entity world has been initialized. Oh, pretzel rocks, pretzel rocks. What are we going to do with you? We're having such a hard time. I don't like being left alone with my thoughts, you know? I like having noise. I like having sound. I like having stuff happening in the background. It's real tough to just. Docker can be so annoying when it doesn't work properly. Yeah, it's probably the kind of issue that we're seeing. because I'm using their app, but their web player isn't working either. So it's some kind of upstream issue they're having. Upstream from me. Not all issues are upstream from me, but some are. So we're going to say cutaway blocks equals game world create entity. Now we're going to say game.world add buffer component of type cutaway, right? What do we do here? Block buffer 3D. Oh, you're talking about your own problems? No, I don't know how these kind of apps are working. I thought you were making some kind of knowledgeable statement about how one sets up these kind of web app container things that are like they're technically apps, but you know, they're like but they're not really their own standalone thing. They're just glorified. The problem on your side is 150% due to the component between the chair and the screen. Yeah. That's usually true for me, but there's no chair at the moment. I'm standing. So for me, the problem is almost always between the green screen and the screen. Like the keyboard and the green screen. All right. So we need to add a buffer component. This is a block buffer 3D because it's a 3D buffer we're setting up here. It's a 3D buffer. So we're going to make a 3D buffer of cutaways. We'll assign it to the cutaway blocks entity, give it a block buffer, set its size as the game board, which is a safe start. What's your problem here? Add buffer component. Block buffer 3D must be convertible to iBuffer component. It is, though. But it is. I mean, cutaway isn't probably. What is block? No, there shouldn't be any issue with cutaway here. Game.world.addBuffer component. What's your major malfunction here? Oh, you're not a block buffer 3D. I need to make a new buffer. Block buffer 3D. You're a cutaway buffer 3D. Oh, that's really that's really information that we should have on the block. Is that actually how we should do this? Should the cutaway information just be in the block buffer? I'm hesitant to make the block like too bloated because our block object is like the thing that describes the characteristics of the block. Right now, all it's holding is an enum for its form that captures all the different, almost like not components, but like the different aspects the block could have. It could be a door, it could be a wall, and it could be more than one of these things at a time. Um, and it's got a bit field that lists all the rooms that block corresponds to. And that's like very bare bones. Do I just want to put this there? Is that better? What are the consequences of doing that? One of them is, I actually don't think I want to do that because I want to make it like enumerable by its cutaways and stuff like that. Like I want to, actually, I don't know if I want to do that, but I think the safe thing to do would be to keep it separate for right now because we don't actually always need a cutaway. It's an implementation detail of the system. It's not an intrinsic characteristic of the block. So yeah, let's do that. So Let's make another one of these. So you're an iBuffer 3D component. So we're just going to make a new iBuffer 3D component is what we're going to do. He says, talking over the silence. That's driving him insane. So put a new buffer in here. Call it cutaway buffer. .3D. Basically just copy over everything from the block buffer. And then all we really need to do is name it. Oh, cutaway buffer 3D. And instead of a block, it is a cutaway. That's fine. That's nice and thin. I think we like thin. I think thin is good. So this will be a cutaway block buffer, cutaway buffer 3D, and a cutaway. Okay, now you're happy. Now you're happy. Pretzel, come back to me. Play music for me. All right, I'm going to be risky and just try the chess radio again. I'm going to take a risk here. I feel like we already listened to this song. All right, I can live with this. But yeah, we definitely just listened to this. It's ramping up. It's ramping up. You should hear it now. I'm not in charge of the mix. Yeah. Nix and Rhiannon. Yeah, even if the composition is public domain, the recording might not be. It's like, it's this whole thing. It's so hard to find music that you can play safely on a stream and not get copyright stricken or demonetized or something. Really annoying. All right. Okay, so we got it. So we've got this set up as a buffer. So that kind of changes our relationship here, which is, man, look how many references we have to this. I would like to be able to index into this by a coordinate. That would be cool. We have a lot of functionality. All right, let's just try to copy over the functionality and re-implement it for a given buffer here for our cutaway buffer. So we have some functionality for this. Oh, I did kind of want to rewrite this a little bit so that it's like you could index into it by key and then you could ask has. Yeah, I kind of want to do that instead. Because we have has any. What else do we have? You're enjoying this song? Good. It's the only one we got. All right, so these are all our helper functions. I want to rewrite some of these onto the buffer here. That seems like the easy thing to do. Oh no, you don't actually have a copy of your span, do you? Oh. All right. So here's the thing though. So now we need to say something like so here we got to say something like we've got the room bounds. We also need the cutaway. It's variable cutaway blocks equals a new buffer 3D read only. Or no, you're not a 3D read only, you're a read write. 3D read write. Cutaway. Game.world.getComponent. Cutaway buffer 3D. I would like to find a better way to do this, but this is the way right now. So we've got our cutaway blocks. So actually the functionality we want is, some of it's going to be here. Okay, so all of our get functionality is here. And then so all of our has or has any or whatever, all of that logic needs to be down here in this individual cutaway thing. So the only question is, do we have that? Do we have all of that accessible to us? It's a little bit of a convoluted way to store everything, but it works. Wow, the next song just played. That's incredible. And it's kind of a banger. All right, so here's all of our stuff. We have a containment check. Add. So we use clear, contains, get, has any, and try get. All right. These are going to be a bit tricky. So this should actually be okay because by default, we don't actually, the extents are nothing because the way this is set up as a flag. So no cutaway. Getting back a default cutaway extent is the same as not having one at all. So that should be easy because we're going from a dictionary that's like quote unquote sparsely populated to a densely populated buffer, which is wasteful, but it's going to help us with inter-system access. Eventually we'll need like a read-write graph, like an access graph, so that we can make sure we're reading and writing all of these in the correct order. But for right now, we don't have to worry about it. All right, who's responsible for calling your ready function? The chief of your group. I need to define the concept of system groups so that I can designate someone who's responsible, and by someone I mean a system that's responsible for initializing a system group. The song was cool. That's getting an upvote for me. Watch me break the whole interface trying to like this track. It's beach balling now. Oh no, I shouldn't have done it. Huge mistake. All right. So that system will be made ready. Now we got to switch to actually trying to use it. Oh man, I was joking, but I think I did actually break it. That's so unfortunate. Oh, well, we're heading into ads, so we're just gonna chill for a second. We might have to listen to that song again, which, you know, would not be the worst thing. Bart Lane, what happened? I clicked a button because I like that song and I wanted to write it down. That was the case, but I broke the whole interface by doing it. Yep. 1 hour in, finally we're gonna code. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. But while we're stuck in ads here for the next couple minutes, I'm gonna still just try to fix my music here. Give me the songs. Give me the music. The people demand the music. Yep, okay. I got the music back on. We're listening to the same song again. I'm not going to click the like button. I'm just going to accept that I may never hear this ever again. I should just write it down. It's called Organic City. It's very good. Oh yeah, nothing's stopping you from just ignoring me, Nix. No, I know you're working on your voice stuff. I would be fine if I was just listening to music myself and I didn't play it over the stream. I am always going back and forth on which is the correct thing to do for the stream. Right now, my opinion is that I think it's good to play music in the stream because it contributes to like the mood and the vibe I'm trying to set. But I also acknowledge that some people would prefer silence and listen to their own music. It would certainly simplify my copyright concerns, you know? I could just listen to some random thing and I would just be bobbing my head in silence. I'm a good background sound for you? Nice, thank you. Like a coworker, I make you stressed enough to force you to work. Nice, yeah, that's it. That's the stuff. All right, so we're gonna just hard cut this dictionary, generating 76 errors, and now it's time to replace. Oh, we do have to clear this. I think we need a clear function in here somewhere. It would be in the buffer 3D read only. All right, let's make a clear function. We could say for each t value in Oh, we can't do that in a read only. This would be a read write function. Oh, maybe I already have this function in read in the 3D buffer read write. Oh, we have a clear function. Oh, but that's clear for an index. We want a parameterless version. Oh, can I just clear the whole span? Oh. Well, that's easy. Okay. Well, the music's gone again. Diginanigans, maybe just because you're used to it, you enjoy the background music. Yeah, I prefer it as well. But I think the background music is done with us because Pretzel is beach balling now. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm not going to intervene. So we'll see. It's kind of moot for me because, like, not moot. It's like one of those things where it's not like a real choice for me because even if I decide to stop playing music in the stream, the next song started. Even if I decide that, I can't cancel my subscription because then again, puts me at risk of copyright strikes. So I'm paying for this Pretzel Rock subscription no matter what until the end of time. It's not a huge amount. It's like maybe like $6 a month or something like that. $6-7 a month. But still, you'd like it to at least work. Here's a crazy idea. Maybe try the keyboard shortcut to play the next song. Yeah, I'm afraid to do anything. I'm afraid to touch this app. But I like this song too. I think that's the tragedy of today's stream is I like all of the songs that are playing, but I can't tell the app that. All right, so we've got our errors. Time to process them all. This is turned into a big refactor. So now we have something like cutaways, block coords, or equals. So can we index by coordinate? Can we index a buffer 3D by coordinate? I don't think I've set that up. I have a get function. Yeah, I want to set up an index get. Do it like a getter default. I don't even know if I have get or default here. Oh yeah, I do. Get or default. Oh no, we know what the song titles are, Nix. I appreciate it. You see Pretzel Rocks as a bot in the chat. I'm just not going to remember. But this is pretty good too. The song is Woman by Ophir Katil. I think in another life I could have been like an NPR radio host. So obviously not now. Yeah, NPR. No, I know. Pretzel is like you start to forget about the Pretzel messages. You can always tell when the chat's really slow because it's just pretzel, Nix, pretzel. Rhiannon, pretzel. It immediately played the next song. All right, we're so back. Thanks for everyone hanging out today. This has been I thought it was gonna be a quiet day, but we've kind of really we have what is for me a great viewership today. I appreciate everyone lurking, jamming along with us here, trying to get shit done, or not. You don't have to get shit done. If it's not obvious, I often don't. All right, so what I want to do is I want to set up an indexer for this. So an index is super easy. It's like this. Where do I normally put indexers? It looks like I put them above public methods. So let's just put it here above the clear. Public cutaway this. Vector 3i, we'll say coords because that's what we say. We will say get or default coords. Oh, it's going to be public t this because this is generic. And so the get is get or default. The set is, we have a set function here, right? Yeah. Jamming along when we can, yeah. Nix, you would never skip a stream on purpose unless you're really tired of playing RimWorld or just generally busy or this or that. Yeah, no, no worries. I am very blessed that you all have decided to make me part of your, I don't want to say routine, but it's that day, part of your day. I'm very lucky that you've all decided that you enjoy having me be part of your day. That's kind of the... People get distracted by like official methods of support, like subscriptions and bits, and soon we're going to have super chats and members and stuff on YouTube, which is very exciting because we just passed 500 subscribers on YouTube. But no, to me, the best thing that anyone does is just tune in, check it out. You don't even have to say hi. Just, in my mind, a stream is worth it if one other person has decided that this is worth spending their time hanging out with. Oh no, you didn't like those sounds from that song? Like someone tap dancing in space right on the other side of the airlock window? Ooh, it's creepy. It didn't bother me, but I was on a wistful monologue, so I might have stopped paying attention a little bit. All right, okay, so we've got an indexer for our buffer 3D read write. We should honestly have one for the read only, but obviously the read only one will not have a setter. It would just have public t, how does this work? Public t this. This can just be get. Is that how it's written? Is it a colon? Oh, I can use it an expression body. Get or default coords. There we go. Just do it like this. Yeah, there we go. Because an indexer should never fail, in my opinion. I mean, it could throw like an out of range exception, I guess, but I guess I should also have one that's an index. Probably. So should we also have a public t this integer index? And then it's just span index. Actually, I guess we also want to get or default for this. Do I not have one of those? I want one. Public t get or default integer. It's going to be index greater than, or it's greater than 0, less than 0, or index is greater than We have length hard-coded in this. Yeah, we do. Yeah, I don't know if I love this more electronic kind of stuff, but again, I'm not touching the radio. I'm too afraid. Oh, it's that would be default. We can say greater than equal to 0 and less than length. Oh, I don't need the parentheses. Hey, Master33S7, what's up? How's it going? The shenanigans, yeah, immediately when you log on with this account on YouTube, it's always on the top row of recommendations now. Usually the current live and the previous VOD. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, YouTube is very kind to me sometimes. Like last week, it was like, we're going to show this to like thousands of people, and like 500 people checked out the VOD. I've noticed that there's a difference, obviously, in quality of viewer, quote unquote. People who tune into the live usually stick around longer and subscribe and stuff like that. And then when people watch the VOD later, it's usually much more muted, obviously. Seems you've been here before? Yeah, I didn't get the first time chatter thing either. How are you? I'm good. How are you? We're working on our isometric 3D take on FTL fast and light. We're doing a little bit of refactoring to support a new mouse input paradigm that I'm interested in switching to. Oh, that awesome. Love it. We just triggered a whole bunch of errors because we're switching from using a built-in little dictionary to a buffer that we've made, a 3D buffer. So we got to swap this over to the 3D buffer. I've been making sure that we have the functionality that we need to. So this is going to be... I hope the or equals just works. I might need to support the or equals. So if I say cutaway blocks block chords. Oh, dang it. I have to start passing in the buffer. We'll call them cutaways. Yeah, I appreciate that. How are you doing? How are you doing, Master33S7? Happy Wednesday. So we'll say cutaways. Okay. Does this just work? This operator just works? Cutaway operator. Oh, yes it does, because we have a cutaway operator assigned. Cool. Hell yes. Let me make sure this is set up vaguely correctly. Oh yeah, I got all the operators in here. Easy. Easy peasy. I love these very simple structs that are just, or these very simple property structs that just have a single property. And everything is so easy. You can have your implicit operators, so you can swap between them whenever you want. Everything's so easy this way. Gotta get here. This, I think I can get rid of this. We're gonna keep that in mind. You're doing good? That's good to hear. You been working on anything interesting lately? It's game jam season. Solo Dev Jam number 8 starts on Friday. I wish I had known about that. I would have maybe tried to do it, but I've been so busy with work. I wouldn't have had the time. Okay, this might be just an easy one-to-one. We might not need any additional functionality. I might just need to add the buffer to the functions. That's the only unfortunate thing, is we have to pass these buffers around a lot. But they're actually ref structs. So they're very cheap to pass around and access. So no big problem there. You know, I don't know if I like the capital 3D. I like lower 3D better. No, I don't. I don't like that at all. You're not really of a game dev. I like that description. I'm not really of a game dev. Essence of game dev. You work on personal stuff? I mean, no one pays me to do game dev either. You're in good company. You got this file server from someone else on GitHub. You made your laptop into a power-efficient server that runs Ubuntu. Oh, interesting. A laptop as a server is an interesting approach. Very cool. I wish I had little projects in a little ecosystem that I was managing. I know it's a pain. Everyone I know that has one of those and that has anything like that, like their own little server, hardware, little ecosystem of different devices and everything, like Nix. A lot of time is spent managing that stuff. All right, what are the odds that we finish this and it's all broken? Oh, these can be fully static now, huh? Yeah, they can. Let's do that. I like that. Which is interesting. The system itself doesn't even really need to run. I guess not all of these functions can be static, but the cutaways can. We might end up switching more to that model for all this stuff anyway. I guess the titles, it's nice to have as a dictionary. It kind of reflects where they end up. Could you use that old phone or your Steam Deck as a server too? That, yeah, you're talking crazy. Nix, what? You don't get paid for this? Being a part-time solo dev is harder than you thought. I know, it's crazy. I bet if I lived in like Holland, I could get like a government grant or something. But LS Dev, God help you if you close the lid though. That's like exactly what I was thinking. I was like, wow, a laptop as a server. I'm thinking like swollen batteries, like I know nowadays they all have like pass through and stuff and it's not like actually a problem, but I think it's funny. All right, how do I want to order the parameters here? Do I want to order them by read access or do I want to order them alphabetically? Normally I order parameters alphabetically, but I think in this case I want to do read access, read write access. Copy this. Oh, we're getting a little funky. You've seen people use a Steam Deck as a server? It's been running 2 days and it lost 2% of battery. But only because you set it up and worked on it actively? Okay, cool. Cool beans. Steam Deck as a server is crazy, but then again, people use RPIs too. Raspberry Pis, is that, I assume that's what RPI means. They're kind of in the same ballpark. Except with a Steam Deck, you got a built-in UPS, a screen, and even an on-screen keyboard. It sounds like the perfect server. That's so funny. Master, you made it so it doesn't charge above 60% and goes down to about 40. Oh, nice, nice. Okay, so you've got some power management stuff you're doing. Oh, this is some good stuff that we're listening to now. You're listening to Lowrider by the Dayton Brothers. Practicing my radio host. You've got an old HP laptop that has both an active and passive digitizer on the screen, meaning touchscreen, and a Wacom style pressure sensitive pen that is aware of where it is without touching. It's pretty cool. It's not useful anymore as far as specs, but you want to try and repurpose the screen as a USB external display and keep the touchscreen working with it. That'd be super cool if you could make that happen. All right. Okay, so man, everyone is using this buffer. That's fine. So we're gonna say we'll pass all this stuff through. pass all this stuff through, and then we'll pass the buffer in. How about that? Buffer 3D read only. Now it's a read only buffer. In which case, I guess I could pass it in earlier, huh? Maybe we pass it in up here. What is the switch expression complaining about? Missing arms? Oh, no. Oh, you got a log for your... Oh, nice. You got a system log for your... Yeah, this laptop server thing seems super cool. I don't know what I would use a server for, but I like all this stuff. Nix, dang it. You gotta listen to Slow Ride because you misunderstood the song's name. That's so funny. Slow Rider. That was the song's name. And also the correct pronunciation. You use it as a type of NAS or a cloud service? Yeah. I have an old computer. I was considering setting it up as a NAS. Might still do someday because it's kind of like almost, it's not quite beyond its usefulness as a computer, as like an effective computer for work, but it will be soon. And it's this big boxy thing. It's got room. It's got like more than a dozen hard drive slots on it. It's got a lot of space. The motherboard's got plenty of room. So yeah, I think someday, because man, I've been hearing some horror stories about cloud storage. Makes me very nervous about having everything there. Okay, here we go. So now we need to actually start changing the structure of this. Because it used to be you'd call cutaways.has and you'd pass in the key and then you'd ask it to compare the extents. I think what we want to do is we just want to say you get the cutaway and then you ask that if it has. Yeah, there we go. So slightly more rewording, but this is the way I like to do it. You get the cutaway, index into it, index into the cutaways, and then you ask if it matches this. Although has is wrong. We want has any. Because has is exactly. Actually, I don't know. Do we want to change the way the has behavior works? Because follow me here for a second. So when we do oh, you're doing some cool stuff using words that I don't understand, like ngrok. I know what DNS means, and I know what tunneling means. Oh, every time you restart your service, your link resets. Nix, you've been planning on building a NAS, but so far, every time you buy some more space, you just keep ramming them into your PC. You're up to 24 terabytes. Oh, my lord. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what you're storing 24 terabytes of. All right, so right now we have has, and what has does, the way I generally interpret, Master, can you send links in here? I mean, you probably shouldn't send me a link to your NAS. If that's what you mean, but no, links are okay. I think the official rule is please share them responsibly. You would love to share the file server with me. It has authentication. I don't know if I would share that in Twitch, but we have a Discord, or you could always DM me. Depends on how public you want this link to be. Completely? As in completely public? Okay, then don't go shoot, you know. Whatever you're comfortable with. Just don't rickroll me. I'm live, you know. I cannot be trusted. Anyway, what I was saying is that we have has, and the way I typically interpret has to mean is has exactly. So all we do is just a raw check of extents. So if extent and extents is equal to extents, so this checks exactly the value. It's not just saying, do you have this flag? It's saying, are you exactly this? So I feel like maybe that should be a different check, which is unfortunate because we have 23 references to this already. And I'm not quite sure. Yeah, because the problem is the cutaway extents is a flag or a bit field, so we could have more than one of these. And generally, I'm just asking, like, is this field set? But the problem is the way I've written it is what it's asking actually is this field set and no other fields are set? And I feel like that's a different question. So I kind of want to change that behavior. I'm a little concerned about doing so, but I feel like I probably should. So we could have public bool. We could have like has exactly or has only. Has exactly and has only, I feel like, are very similar. And has any is like a partial check. It's like, do you have any of the flags that I'm asking you about? We could also call it has exclusively, but I don't want to write a function name that long. So we could do this. All right. We're being shared a crazy link. Oh, crazy. So this is like a public don't. Oh man, this is cool. I mean, I would never, but very cool. What kind of usage do you imagine that is? It's just like a nice way for people to share files with you publicly. Hey, Pheasant SC2, thank you for the subscription. Almost a year. Yeah, you're more than halfway there. Oh yeah, look at you, 11 months. Oh, you're almost there. Thank you so much. That's very nice. Thank you so much. You should have waited for September, but I really appreciate it. Seriously. You broke the radio station, though, with your subscription. Just kidding. We've been having radio problems all day. All right, so we're gonna redefine has to be a little less strict. So has is gonna be like, we're gonna ask. So we're gonna ask extent and extents. Oh wait. This isn't has only. I wrote this correctly. So has only is extent and extents equals extent. Extent is this cutaway's extents. Because we're just asking if we have these extents. Okay. I know I wrote this correctly the first time. I mean, I think I'll still enjoy having the has only specificity because I might actually need that. Let's be careful as we go through this to make sure that we don't mess any of that up as we finish refactoring this. The music's back. Yeah, I wish I was more of like a computer power user. I don't have a Linux box. I don't make my own Docker stuff. I don't do. There's so many things that like a real power user has. I don't have servers. I'm just a gamer. I've got a Windows machine. that I currently use. I got a laptop, also on Windows. Apparently, I'm not doing enough with my Steam Deck. Apparently, I could be doing all sorts of stuff with my Steam Deck, I'm told here. Well, and my laptop, for that matter. I'm underutilizing my hardware is what I'm doing. All right, so we pass this in. We say cutaways. All right, let's make sure we get this behavior right. So when we say has, yeah, that's fine. If we pass has a single flag, that behaves the way we want it to. Oh, so we need to pass this in to all of these. You say cutaways. Let me just plug this in here. Oh, like that. That was short-lived. So we're refactoring all this for the sake of a change to the input system I want to make. This is sometimes why it's so hard to judge how much work is going to be involved in a feature change, because you're like, I have no idea which of my systems support this change and which of my systems need to be changed, like, or refactored before we can even think about doing this. And it's like, that's kind of why I just start. I have such a hard time planning these in advance, pre-planning these, understanding the impact to the schedule. Oh, this is dense. There's a lot of cutaway checks here. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Master 3307, 3307. I think it's really cool. I had a friend back in the day who decided they want to have, like, they wanted to have a local copy of all of Wikipedia, including the pictures. They also had a bunch of movies. This was like probably 15 years ago, during maybe the height of like Mega and torrenting and all this stuff. The guy's like, I'm going to have all the films, I'm going to have all the books, I'm going to have all human media on this server in my closet. And it just became this project that like took all of his time. It was so funny, but he did it. He got all of Wikipedia on there, some few dozen terabytes later. Wild. All right, okay, so that's all the parameter changes. Now we just got to go through and replace the references to this dictionary with a new buffer here. Make sure it works. Okay, so anytime we're just checking a single flag that's like super trivial, and I don't think I have to worry about the variation of has. Hey, Fusionist. How's it going? Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Nix, actually this is really doable nowadays. There are a bunch of tutorials on how to set up a text-only Wikipedia server on a Raspberry Pi, which you can access by connecting to the Wi-Fi of said Raspberry Pi. Plop on a battery, it's some solar panels. You're apocalypse ready? That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, their copy was not text only, which is crazy. I don't remember how big it was, but when they were doing this 15, 20 years ago, I don't even remember. It was even back then, it was a very heady undertaking. Crazy. But, you know, if you want to be ready, if you want to set yourself up to be like a techno priest in the apocalypse, that's the kind of information you're going to need, right? You want to be the new Adeptus Mechanicus. Hey, Monodono. How's it going? Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Slow riding, taking it easy, Nix, is what you would say if you didn't spend the last 40 hours trying to make the your magic black box talk back to you. Yeah. You are messing with powers that nobody fully understands. All right, the containment check will just work, right? I've already set that up to work. That's a buffer thing, and that works based on a coordinate. Cool. Cool. Monodono, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. You're all good there, or as good as you can be using Blender? Ooh. Blender. I cannot. Anytime I need to use Blender for anything, I have to ask my partner to explain how it works. Which is why we are working on a pixel art 2D game. I can handle a sprite. Blender is great. There's a lot of work going into Godot to make Godot very similar to Blender, at least for the 3D workflow. It's very cool. If it's not the default already, they've added a lot of options to make Godot 3D very similar. They've actually had a great partnership. I think they're announcing a game together soon. Let me pull up Discord. Not together, but there's like this Blender project. Let me see. It's very cool. Oh yeah, it's called Dog Walk. Blender Studio is open project made with Godot and Blender. This looks so cool. Emmy posted about it last month. Looks super cool. You're walking your dog. It's giving like a short hike, maybe a little bit. I think it's very cool. I think for 3D, Godot and Blender work really well together. I think that's really nice. Ow, I just blasted my own ears. Blender Studio presents. Oh yeah, I love that. I love the low frame count for the animations. It gives it that stop motion look. Oh, the eyes under the hair of the dog is so funny. He has to like throw his head back to be able to see under his eyes. That's great. You already like how much import support there is for Blender files to Godot? Yeah, there is. Oh, look, it's me. We're live. We're live and people are watching. Don't panic. That's crazy for me. Oh, Diginanigans, you were talking about Internet in a Box. It's a ready-to-go Raspberry Pi device. It's got a lot of stuff like Wikipedia, OpenStreetMaps, cached YouTube videos, etc., all stored offline. Oh, that's awesome. I think it's legitimately used in a lot of areas that don't have good infrastructure. Yeah, I think that sounds great. If I had a cabin in the woods, I would set up one of those and take it with me, you know? My cabin that not even the power company knows a building is there. You know, that kind of cabin. Fusionist, you got your cat. See a bird across the street and launch himself into the window. Yeah, no regard. Guess you're not switching engines anytime soon then? No. Godot and Blender. Like this. Yeah, it's very cool. I don't typically do 3D games in Godot. I've done one. I had to use Blender for it. Luckily, I got to use art assets. But yeah, it was cool. I'm more comfortable in Godot 2D, but 3D is pretty cool. Yeah, I love when open source software providers like do like our powers combined kind of stuff. That's what you gotta do, you know. I think your interests are very aligned. It's a great way of combining your efforts. It's a great way of building an ecosystem. I mean, everyone loves the free and open source software ecosystem. Boss. Everyone's out here fossing. All right, so we got to just finish. I've got a bunch of errors here that are very trivial. Just got to reorder for this new buffer structure that we've got here. Switching from a dictionary to this buffer. It's super easy to do. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. I'm just so easily distracted. But we should be able to power through this. Watch how there is no performance problems at all. I'm sure I don't break anything. All right, hold on. Did we run? Why did the number of parentheses just change? Okay. Oh, did I mess something up here? Yeah, I did. That's why. Monodano, you love 3D game. It's so... Oh, it's nice not to have to sort Z's because it's 3D already. Yeah, our game is 2D tile maps, but it's a 3D space. We have like so many tile map layers. It's pretty crazy. We definitely have a time doing that. All right, why is this concerned about the number of parentheses here? What did I mess up? So we got this, we got this, we got this. Oh, my bad. That's so funny. I've like, if I've got a problem here, it's because... Okay, so no, we've got this and this. And this is too many. Yeah, keeping the parentheses straight is tough here. I don't love this. These are our auto tiler rules. They're kind of convoluted and complicated. These are the rules the auto tiler used to determine outlines and things like that change. Shenanigans, you're starting to learn your way around Blender a bit. You still struggle with all the hotkeys and stuff, but you've been making your own D&D minis. Oh, that's so cool. I feel like you mentioned that before. You need to learn to make your characters for your game. Oh, yeah, true. Because you're doing the opposite of what we're doing. You're starting with 3D and creating a 2D effect, ultimately. Like a pixelated... It's still 3D, but it has that kind of retro... look, your game. Whereas we're using 2D assets to like trick you into thinking it's 3D. Oh, is it adding? It's adding parentheses as I'm doing this. That's why I'm like, what is causing this? It's adding them. All right, we're cooking. We're cooking here. Has any. Okay, this is a has any call. We got to keep that in mind. Has any. Y'all are talking about web dev security. That's like so over my head. It's one of many reasons I don't do multiplayer games. There's network stuff scares me. I don't want to ever have to worry about it. I don't want to have to think about it. I'm just happy doing single player stuff. Which is unfortunate because there's a lot of multiplayer games I really enjoy playing with my friends, even if I'm not playing against like the wider audience population. Ooh, why do I have this written this way? Remove these braces. This is gross. Where even are we? Okay. I know there's probably a nice fancy little code replace instruction I probably could have given writer and it would have like done this for me, but it seems like maybe slightly too complicated to change. Just because we're like syntactically changing how this works here. Y'all are like real web devs. I just see paragraph, reply paragraph. LS dev, if you do multiplayer stuff, you need to write a server, and if you write a server, you're in for a bad time. Yeah. Godot has some great tools to help you avoid the need to write a server. Godot has some multiplayer peer stuff. I wonder if they ever actually posted the video on that. They're posting stuff from GodotCon, and there was a good talk from the devs responsible for Dome Keepers multiplayer. I don't think they've posted it yet. I'm like very excitedly waiting. They're posting kind of sporadically. But yeah, there's some great stuff in Godot that lets you do it. You could do it peer-to-peer. You could let the engine handle a lot of it. So at least if you're in Godot, there's stuff you could do to avoid. Yeah, it doesn't look like they posted it yet. I'm waiting. I'll link it in the Discord when I find it. Or when they post it, because I thought it was a very interesting video on how you add... That was on how you add multiplayer to an existing game, which I thought was a really interesting use case. Because that's really hard to do. Real-time stuff gets trickier. Dome Keeper is real-time, but... Oh, Digitana, I'm sorry, I missed your previous statement. P2P is similarly wacky, but less difficult to get running. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's obviously if you're worried, like, Dome Keeper is just co-op, right? If you're talking about a competitive game where you're worried about, you got leaderboards, you got cheaters, you've got all sorts of stuff. Yeah, no, it couldn't be me. Diginanigans. Oh, you're saying it all depends on what your background and comfort level is. For you, the server part is the easy part. Most of the same logic, but you don't need to worry about rendering anything. Real-time stuff gets trickier. I see what you mean. Yeah, I think it'd be cool. But yeah, I'm unless Godot makes it like... Well, one, I would probably only ever make a co-op game, so I don't think I would be that worried about it. Because, like, never say never, but... You know, we got this whole arc... I've been thinking about... I've been talking to a lot of people who feel like the thing you got to do nowadays is you make a lot of games. You make a lot of games very quickly. This looks like it might be wrong, but I'm going to just leave it. I'm going to let it ride here. But they're talking about, like, common tech, building up a set of common tech so that you can churn out games real quick. And I think about that in the context of all the tools we've been building. About, like, oh, what else What else could we do? And I mean, I already know the next game I would work on. I only have like 2 ideas for games. I'm not one of those people that just has a spreadsheet full of like countless game ideas. But I do think about that, about how I could reuse my tech, even for just a game jam or something where it would be allowed, just to make it easier. Think about that kind of thing a lot. Who's making games quickly? That's a finable offense. I love that. That's so funny. 2 ideas is 2 ideas more than you have? Oh, that's not true. You're always working on some kind of project. Maybe not always in games. All right, so here we've got a try get value. What are we going to replace try get value with? So what is the purpose of try get value? We don't necessarily need to use the out variable, but here we do. Okay, so we need an alternative way to achieve the dictionary's try get value method. I mean, we could also just do that. We could also just write a try get value. I thought I had one already, honestly. Got try get. Oh, we do have a try get. I just don't call it value. I probably should, because I think that's how people expect. Oh, it's because I've also got try get absolute and try get relative. That's why I just have a try get. LSDev, if you do centralized servers, you have wildly variable requirements. You could need authentication server and policy kit, a matchmaker server, browser, chat server. Oh yeah, that gets crazy. Especially because all games nowadays are global games, right? And so you're worried about California's privacy laws, you're worried about European Union privacy laws, you're worried about this, you're worried about that. It would be so hard in my mind to do anything like that beyond just simple peer-to-peer co-op that's casual and like unimportant. Like, yeah, it seems hard. It seems really hard, because I would love a version of my game here where you could have like your ship and another ship could like meet up and like you could play together with someone else to like tackle maybe like more difficult scenarios or something like that. I would love to have stuff like that. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be super cool. It'd be super cool. You're selling yourself short, Nick. Arneo, ideas come faster than implementation. You have no idea how to stop feature bloat from the constant "wouldn't it be cool" loop. Yeah, that is tough. That is tough. All right, so I have a try get, coords out t value. If contains coords, value equals span, get index, coords, value equals default, return false. Return true, return false. Okay, okay. I might as well just call this value equals get coords. All right, so we have a try get, so we don't need to write anything. We don't even need to think about a different way to work with this. We can just say cutaways.tryget. And try get is pretty useful for us because our get is a get or default. So we need a try get to tell us, or a containment check or something. We need either contains or a try get which has an implicit contains, which is a nice shorthand because a lot of times you're like, does it contain this? If yes, get me that. Otherwise, do something else. So it's like, still concerned about this commented out branch that I got rid of. We got rid of this yesterday or the day before. We weren't sure what it did. Still nervous about it. 3307. I said earlier that network stuff, I said earlier that network stuff is hard or scary for me because you think network is kind of complicated and scary personally. Network is kind of weird. Yeah. The network is a lot. And I'm not equipped to understand it. I'm like, I don't have a comp sci degree. I'm not like this. I'm a generalist. I'm a script kiddie. Like I'm not this like this computer science guru. I don't just know how this stuff works. I make games. And that I do barely. That was a has-any, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Okay. I gotta make sure I'm calling the right function here. I thought it was because we have this or. We have this full block or full deck. Monodano, you wish you went to school for comp sci? Yeah. Network is weird, Nix. You could just write down a notepad as future ideas once you finish the MVP. Oh, we are. When I say I only have like 2 ideas, I'm like, I know what game I'm working on now, and I know what game I'm working on next. And I think it will use a lot of the same tech here and be in the same perspective. So this is one of those things where I'm spending like so long to make this game. Part of me is hoping that the next game is easier because it's going to be in a similar system with similar tech. I mean, I might be sick of this stuff by then, but we've got ideas on how to keep it fresh. It's better to be scared of networking stuff. You would not want to meet a person who's not afraid of that. That's a good point. That's a good point. Master, those kinds of people are not scared of death or anything else. Yeah. Fear of nothing. Fear of network and nothing. No fear of network or nothing. What kind of stuff do you work on, LS? LS Dev? You seem very knowledgeable on all of this stuff. If you're just lurking, don't worry about it. I'm just curious. There's a single ampersand here, which seems wrong. How do I mess this one up so much? Luckily, it seems to be no consequences here. Hold on. Why is it so weird? Oh, it's like that. It's like that, huh? Oh. It's like this. We're going pretty ham on these parentheses, but it seems to be correct. There we go. Let's keep that consistent. I'm a little concerned I didn't do that right elsewheres, but it looks like we're fine. Looks like I just missed that in one spot. LS, you're currently standing up a forge. Think GitHub, GitLab, etc. Oh, cool. If I know Gitea, or GOGs are. Gatea is what you're working with. No, I'm not familiar, but that's cool. That's cool. A forge. It's cool. Big like GitHub or GitLab sort of thing. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What are you what kind of stuff, like why I'm curious like why you would want to make something like that, right? Because obviously there are some things that already exist that do a similar function. So I'm just curious. I think it's cool. That's definitely some heavy stuff. Because I think about how hard it is to maintain a big project with multiple people. I'm lucky in that, you know, this is a solo project for me, so I don't have to worry about a lot of that stuff. Because I feel like I would have a hard time. Like, there's a reason this is a solo project. Like, I'm a team player at my day job, you know, because you have to be. But when I'm at home and I've put on my robes of game dev, it's just me. I mean, and obviously all of you. But there's something about the solo work that I don't know if I could give it up. I'm really concerned about this direct comparison here, but that should be fine. We'll see if it ends up being wrong. Yeah, we're multi-streaming Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, Bart Lane. You get it. Oh, hey. Master 3307. Over on the YouTubes. Now you're watching in stereo. You're moving in stereo. Life's the same. Moving in stereo. Life's the same. Except for your shoes. Not stereo anymore. Oh, now we're listening to that nice like bossa nova kind of thing. This I like. Man, streaming always surprises you. I'm used to like very quiet, very chill, very low engagement days, you know. But this has been awesome. I appreciate everyone hanging out today. New faces, familiar faces. It's really cool. I just have a lot of gratitude for everyone who's willing to spend part of their day here with us. I say using the royal we. All right. Okay. Yeah, we got a try get, so we can just swap that out here. It's really nice because today this is kind of a slow little refactor process we're going through here. They're not super exciting, but you know, it's what you got to do. It's a delayed nightmare. Oh, no. Yeah. The delay on YouTube is definitely longer. The benefit, though, is that we've got 4K on YouTube. So it's like the viewing quality is higher, but yeah, the responsiveness is lower. It seems to be a trade-off that you just can't avoid. Which, considering YouTube is like the archival stream, like that's the one that's sticking around. Like Twitch deletes the VODs after like 60 days or something. So I think it's a fair trade-off. But yeah, if I'm responding slow on the YouTube side, it's one, I'm very slow. Two, it might be the delay. But it's usually just me. You love archiving? Are you a digital hoarder? Just, you're like a dragon, just being like, my files, give them to me. Arneo, you feel bad engaging because you feel like you're distracting me from the work? No, 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 no. Engage, please. Maximum engagement. LSDev, you've got several reasons for making your own forge. For one, you want to be able to say you could. That's a good reason. Ego is a great reason to do something. I'm playing. That's actually a great reason to do it. You can also make absolutely certain that it's private since you own all the hardware it's running on. Oh, that's cool. We were just talking about like or concern about the cloud and like storing stuff locally and setting up your own servers and stuff. I think that's awesome. I think that's the direction we're heading in, honestly. I think there's where people are kind of scared of the cloud right now, which is fair. I was reading about a developer who lost 10 years of their stuff because AWS made a mistake and won't admit it. LSDev, you're going to probably wind up using it as a portfolio site. But you've happened to get into projects with other people. It's built for that too. Oh, cool, cool, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, no worries, Master. Monodono, same. You've accidentally have 3 copies of holiday photos on your drive somehow. You need to have the 3 copies on 3 different drives, one of which is like off-site. You need to like, you're almost there. Master, so someday you can look back on your stuff and be surprised at how you did things back then. That's always shocking whenever you do that. Rhiannon Journey, reinventing the wheel to prove to yourself you can is definitely a valid motivation. Yeah, I don't even think of it as reinventing the wheel because it's not like, you know, LSDev invented GitHub and then was like, you know, I want to try this again. Which I've heard. I forgot. I think I was talking to Bad Cop or whatever, and Bad Cop was working with someone on something. They were like, it was some kind of OBS alternative. And it ended up the person they were working with was the person who made OBS. And they were like, you know, I don't think I got it quite right the first time. Let me try again. And that's like, that's so cool. All right, we have too many parentheses, apparently. Let's see what's going on here. This to this, sure. There we go. Monodonna, you need to find which copies are the .raws and delete the rest. Yeah, followed by immediately by hardware failure. Yep. Irrecoverable hardware failure. Bad Cop mentioned? Yeah. Bad Cop also has an incredible talk from GodotCon that has not been posted yet, but as soon as it is, y'all should watch it. It was so good. It was about their crazy stream overlay system they've made. Super cool. It's like some Minority Report shit. It's like very high-tech UI stuff. Incredible talk as well. It's nice here you'll be lurking. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for hanging out. See you again soon, hopefully. Oh, okay. We're back to having an inconsistent parenthesis structure, so I'm going to go in here and try to figure this out here. It's doing something, otherwise it would be grayed out if it had no effect. If it had no effect on the control flow, it would tell me. So I'm concerned that it's I'm a little concerned that this seems to be doing something. And I didn't have it here. Okay, this one doesn't seem to be doing anything, which is concerning. Oh, it's because it's this single ampersand again. That's so weird. bitwise. The bitwise and. Lurking helps the algorithm. It does. Thank you to all my lurkers out there. I don't get to thank you, you know, face to face or person to person, so I can only offer a generic thank you, the abstract. It sounds like a lot of new people on the stream today. Don't forget to call it the Discord. That is a good point. We do have a Discord, community Discord, lots of game devs in it. I have a bot command to shout it out on Twitch, but on YouTube, I think it's linked on the channel page. I need to expand my streamer bot commands to also affect YouTube. I haven't done it. There's no reason I can't do it. I just haven't done it. But yeah, thank you all. Really appreciate seeing new faces. And old faces, you know? Or, you know, not, you know, old in that sense. You know what I mean. All right, I think we're almost done with this. We're really hoping this is going to just work here. If it doesn't, I'm not sure what we're going to do. Nix, your motivation consists of pure laziness with tiny bursts of hyperfocus between said laziness. That sounds based, as the kids say. Yeah, I often make decisions. Y'all are kind of talking about doing something just to understand it better when you could just use like an off-the-shelf solution or something. That's definitely happens to me. I mean, I'm using my own entity component system when what I should have done was just, you know, hook flex up. Like, it was silly to try to do my own thing with that, but it's like I wanted to do it because I wanted to understand how it worked. So when I ran into an issue with it, you know, I'm equipped to actually deal with it. Does that make it harder to do things? Sure. But I get so I get so demotivated when I'm using like middleware or something that I don't understand, and I run into a problem or a limitation and I like can't do anything about it because it's not my system and I don't understand how it works. That's devastating to me. That's why I'm very hesitant to add things like plugins to the project early on. Because to me, a plugin is something you add in as like that's something you add in just to get yourself over the line. You add it at the end of a project. You might turn to a plugin to be like, I don't have time. I need this feature. Like, I think that's easier to do, or it's easier to evaluate what that would mean when you're later on in a project and everything is like fairly mature. I feel like when you turn to like outside systems like that early in a project, you end up putting yourself in a really tough situation. It's a lot scarier to me to do that early. So yeah, I totally get the motivation of figuring it out yourself and having your own system just so you know how it works. I get it. Plugins go in as soon as code conflicts and flow are sorted out, in your opinion? Yeah, that's fine. You had the Sky plugin day one. You can't make a game without it. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think if you work with the plugin long enough, I think you develop an understanding of its limitations and stuff. But the two kinds of times I make games, which is like jams, little jams, or like my big projects. I don't like adding plugins to my big projects because that adds a dependency that I can't control, which is a problem if like you're making a game that takes so long that you might be on like Godot 5 by the time it's done. Um, that's just scary. And then for a jam game, it's so small that what I really need to do is do better about using gameplay templates, like game templates. I need to make my own set of templates, which I always say I'm going to work on, and then I don't. Why is this complaining to me? Cutaway cursor. Ah, you need another system. You need... cutaway blocks. I should probably have called this like block cutaways instead. Cutaway blocks. Call it block cutaways. Shenanigans. Yeah, plugins are great when they work well for you, but it can be a bigger headache if they get you 90% of the way there and the last 10% can't be easily added in. Yeah, that's the fear. That's the great fear, right? Not to mention they don't always work well together, though many of them do. Yeah. It would definitely make me more productive and quicker if I wasn't always home brewing my own stuff. But yeah, I think to me the utility is like inversely proportional to like how long you're probably going to be working on the project. And the longer you work on the project, the more likely you run into one of those brutal compatibility issues or missing functionality that, yeah, like you said, is not easy to add. All right, well, that was a pretty big refactor. All the errors are gone, which doesn't mean much, but get rid of this stuff too. Let's see. Crash. Immediately crash. Nope. No immediate crash. Here we go. Here goes something. So far, 1-to-1. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is busted. Oh, we're not clearing it. I think that's the problem. We need to say block cutaways. We need to say block cutaways dot clear. It's a very silly music we got going on here. All right, moment of truth. We got to clear at every frame. I forgot to do that. That's on me. Because I was like, oh, it's working so great. And then it was like in complete failure. Like, no. All right. All right. Don't want to speak too soon. So far, okay, mostly. We've got a cutaway problem here. Actually, it's not a cutaway problem. It's an auto tiling problem. So we've got a bit of an auto tiling problem, but that's easy to figure out. That's the bulk. That is, oh, that's not the bulk. That's the floor. The bottom of the floor is not canceling its outline correctly. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. See if we can spot any other weird issues off the bat here. But so far, that was a pretty successful refactor. If all the problem is that we introduced an issue with the one branch of the auto tiler, I can live with that. Yeah, so far so good. And now the cutaway system is a buffer that we can pass around. So we can set it one frame, and then the next frame, the input system can use it to figure out where the cursor is. So that's good. Nix. So fun fact, apparently Gemini, when they open a big file or look through a long message, they put in blah, blah, blah after a while instead text to cut it off. It's kind of funny to see when you're analyzing network packets and then you just 3 big bold lettered blahs jump scare you. That's funny. It's very strange. I've never had that. I've never run into anything like that. Okay, so what did we change? So we have a problem here. Not here. We have a problem here. Not here. Here. We have a problem here in the... Let's see. Let's check to make sure what branch it is. If we go to our tile set, we'll default T-res. Go to the floor bits here. So that is... So the bottom outline is x plus 1. So when we go x plus 1, we're removing the bottom outline. So something in the x plus 1 branch is causing a problem. Here we go. Here it is. What did we do? It's probably some nonsense with the parentheses. So if the mask is not equal to null and the mask contains this. Okay. Or the mask is null and the adjacent negative y is the same as the hull. Then we can do this. All right, let's look at the git. So I'm not sure what we changed there. But that should be an easy way to figure it out. Assuming we can find this spot. Where about does this happen? So this happens around in the upper 300s, low 400s. Okay. Whatever we did affected both sides, which is concerning. That makes me think it's a change in the behavior more than it is a change in the code we made. But we'll find it. Upper 300s. Okay, here. So we went from not cutaways.has key xyz minus vector 3i dot y. We went to not cutaways dot has. That's fine. Here we removed a couple of has checks here. This is correct here. We didn't change any parentheses or anything. Okay, that's concerning. Is it possible this behavioral problem is somewhere else? Possible. Big changes. Small bugs. Let's see. So the has behavior changed a little bit. No, it didn't. The has behavior... No, it did. It did. It changed. We changed it a little bit. I wonder if we want has only for some of this stuff. It's possible I missed something here. This or this and this. That's fine. That should be fine. Huh. Okay, so we introduced something weird here. Got a few more minutes that we can use to try to figure it out. Oh, wait. Hold on, it worked there. Oh, no, that's the bulk. The bulk is doing this correctly. The floor is doing it wrong, though. Interesting. Okay, so that's definitely happening because of the floor. I know we knew that already. I'm just thinking. All right. What are we doing here? Maybe I've got it wrong a little bit. What if we, so this affected the behavior. What if we do this? Let's try that. See if it's a parentheses problem, which I wouldn't put it past. No, that doesn't seem to do it. Doesn't seem to have a difference, but it doesn't seem to do it. So we changed the cutaway, so it probably is likely a problem with that. Maybe it's some kind of default. Maybe we're running into an issue with the default behavior here. Nix, you had so much stuff to do today, and all you've done so far is make yourself frustrated that the code still doesn't work. That's fair. That's rough, but it's fair. I get like that. If I can't get some momentum, some traction, you hit a wall for long enough, it's just, it's hard to recover from a motivation standpoint. Oh, has any is wrong. Or has any is meaningless, a meaningless distinction when you are passing this in. Probably because I misunderstood the implementation before. Let's fix that real quick. Oh, never mind. I think I just typed. That was a typo. Oh, has any here is correct. Because it's either of these. Has any... Wait, what? Oh. It's possible that there's a problem down here with the... Oh, I'm an idiot. It's not x plus 1. It's y plus 1. We were looking at the wrong branch. Darn it. Worst part is you got sick last Friday, so you feel like a... Oh no. Wet one-ply reusable tissue paper. That is not a way to feel. Alright, so it's a y plus 1. So the problem's here in the y plus 1 branch. Alright, alright. Alright. Let's see what we did. Let's see how we change that. All right. Traction. We're getting traction. So we swapped that, which is fine. Swap that, which is fine. Okay, so none of that changed. So where's y plus 1? Here it is. Oh, there's a contains check. Oh, the contains check is different. The contains check is different. The contains check was previously, when it was a dictionary, the contains check would tell you whether there was a key corresponding, right? But this time, now the contains check, all it does is tell you, are you in bounds? That's all the contain check does. Are you in bounds for this buffer 3D? That's not what we need. What we need... All right, so we're going to search for cutaways.contains. We're going to find all the uses of this, which there are 10. And we need to make sure, so we actually need to swap contains with try-get. Try-get with a discard. We could also maybe have like a not default. What if we had a different, because I don't actually need the out variable. All I need to know is whether this is not default. Yeah, whatever. Let's use try-get. I don't think it's meaningful, particularly meaningful thing to make that distinction right now. We might change our mind later. I just don't think it terribly matters. Okay, that makes a lot of sense why that wasn't working. I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't break more. We could even have a function just called try-get-discard, which is like, it's a try-get, but you don't actually need to keep it. Oh, I don't even need to specify the value type. If I discard it. I still kind of want to, but... Yeah, maybe I refactor that later. That's maybe a refactor week kind of thing. It's not something that really matters right now. Kind of just want to write that function. Try get discard. I don't know. Maybe try get discard's a weird wording. So we've got get or default. We could have like not default is not default. I don't know. Whatever. Let's use the tools that we got for now. Doesn't really matter. Why does this have a parentheses? It seems to do something. All right, that's all the references to it. We're just going to get rid of this. No, I'm so concerned about this, but let's get rid of it. All right, let's try it now. That should fix it. Oh, yep. Look at that sweet. Oh, wait. Spoke too soon. That didn't fix anything? What the heck? All right, back to the drawing board. Oh, that was the X+1 path. There's got to be a problem with the Y+1 path here. Y+1. We're going to find this. We're going to figure this out. Even though I'm out of time. We're going to do it. No, we're going to do it. We have not cutaways. Try get. Oh, wait. Try get's not going to work. We really do need another function. Because try get is going to say true. I think. Unless there's something in here. Oh, yeah, dang. Try get doesn't do what we want either. Yeah, we really need a is not default. Let's just make that. Let's just make that. That's easy. Public bool is not default. Do we want coordinates? Yeah, so all we're going to do is we're going to say is this coords not equal to default. Can we just do this? What? Can we say get coords? Oh, we need to say get or default. Get or default. T.default. Is there a way to specify a default of T? Man. Oh, I think I know what we need to do. We need to do that here. We could just pass a has any check. So we can say, here's what we can do. So we can say, so we need to say cutaways if not cutaways dot has any, no parentheses. So we need to say, so a version of this with no parentheses. just say return extent is not equal to 0. There you go. Easy. I could say has, but I like has any for that. All right, so now we need to find the cutaways.tryGet. So we don't actually need these, I don't think. Hoping this is it here. Yeah, that's what the purpose of the contains was a has any check. So we can just say Nix. They're salmonifying your cat's turkeys is not a sentence you would ever utter, but for some reason, the high quality cat food you get for your cats, in this case, turkey flavored, smells so strongly of salmon. It's mind boggling. Yeah, okay. That is weird. Although I don't think salmon is terrible smell. Like, there's definitely some bad fish smells, but you could do worse, I think. But yeah, that sucks, especially if you don't like that kind of smell. Oh, here we do actually have an actual try-get. I gotta actually read these before I change them. Here's a try-get. We actually use the out variable. Okay, cool. Cutaway is not equal to adjacent cut dot extent. We don't even need the dot extent. Okay, there's 1. Here's 2. All right, you're also an actual check. Actual try-get call. Only 2 legitimate try-get calls. The other 6 needed to become has any checks. We're just checking to see if there's any bit flag that was set, which is not the same as a try-get. A try-get is more about, are you within the bounds of the buffer for us now? Very different switching from a dictionary to a buffer. All right, moment of truth. Oh, looking good. There they are. And by there they are, I mean there they aren't. None of those pesky outlines, unnecessary outlines being drawn. Do a quick check. I gotta go, but let's do a quick check. This has been a really effective stream. I've really enjoyed this. It's been really nice having everyone here. We actually got a lot done. And by a lot, I mean one thing. We got one thing done, which is uncountably more than 0 things. It's incredible. The difference between one thing getting done here and 0 feels good, man. All right, so far so good. I don't spot any other weird problems. I think we successfully substituted our private dictionary here for a cutaway buffer that is accessible by other systems, which is going to be great for figuring out the input earlier in the frame. So then we can just use last frame's cutaway information. So we can actually have a picture of this, like with the cutaway when we're looking to see, when we're trying to figure out where the cursor input is. That's crucial if we're going to do this kind of line of sight input system. There was a lot of talking, but I got it done. Ouch. Ouch, Rhiannon Journey. Nix, you enjoyed today's stream? Diginanigans success? Yes. Yeah, this was awesome. This is one of our more... This has some of our highest concurrent viewership on YouTube ever. So thank you everyone on YouTube who's been hanging out with me. We stream Game Dev Tuesday through Saturday. Most days, Tuesday through Saturday around this time. So we'll be back. Continue working on Digital Iliad here, our isometric FTL-like in this kind of pseudo 3D we've got going on. We're going to keep working on this new input system. I'm glad I stuck to it. I was almost ready to give up on it yesterday, but I'm glad we're sticking with it. I think we're making some headway. Your Rhiannon Journey, you didn't mean it badly. No, I know you didn't. It's fun. It's fun to be, to misinterpret things on purpose, No one's ever been harmed by that. You meant the chat was popping and I was interacting, so you were surprised I got so much stuff done. It's hard to talk and get stuff done. It really is. It's true. It's true. It's kind of a balm for me, though, because sometimes I feel like I'm not really getting a lot done, and it's nice to be able to, fall back into the engagement with the stream to, kind of delay or buy me some breathing room or to just feel better about not getting things done. Arneo, it's kind of cool you managed to make radar blips kind of work just as I finished my stream. Hell yeah, please let me see that on the Discord. That'll be cool. But yeah, thank you all so much. Yeah, all the new people, regulars alike. Glad we got the music figured out. Yeah, I gotta run. I gotta go get some laundry going and then get back to work. By back to work, I mean the day job. Gotta pay these bills. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. New problems. Same game. Yeah. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Until next time. Bye.